welcome to your yoga practice today. I'm Samantha. This practice that we'll share is a great practice if you're a little newer to yoga or if you haven't practiced in a while. The practice will be a little more kind of basic, a little more straightforward, and could be good as well if you just want something to take it a little maybe slower than a traditional vinyasa class that I might teach. So we'll begin in a comfortable cross-legged seat. If you're not comfortable already, take a block or a pillow, something you have nearby, place it under your hips. That will allow your spine to feel more naturally taller. You'll drop your knees down. It's also helpful if your hips feel tight to sit up on something. And before we close our eyes and just focus on our breath, let's start to feel our breath. So your hands, place them on your rib cage. And then from there, close your eyes. And just shifting your breath to your nose, but other than that, just kind of let your breath be whatever it is, let it be natural for you. And as you just breathe through the nose at your own natural pace for now, notice how your hands move as you breathe. Notice the pace. Does it feel steady? Is there a big rush to in or exhale? Can you feel or notice your fingers moving more than your thumbs? And just anything about your breath. Just feel it with your hands right now. So breath is the most important thing to focus on in our yoga. Breath and watching it helps us to feel more connected to what we're doing. It really helps to keep us present and in our experience. So start to lengthen your breath, still keeping your hands on your rib cage for just a bit longer. You're breathing through your nose. You're now watching your breath travel down the back of your throat, filling up your lungs. You feel your hands expand there. It fills up your belly as you breathe in. When you feel ready to breathe out, start to make it an active exhale. Draw the belly button in. Press the breath right back out slowly through your nose. Another breath, full round with the hands still on the ribs. And an active exhale, squeezing your belly in. Press the breath out. Letting your hands rest anywhere on your lap. Your eyes are closed if they're not right now. And we don't have our hands on our body, but still feel yourself expanding as you breathe in. Feel your navel draw in. Press the exhale out of you. Notice what it feels like to just let your attention rest on what you're doing. Bringing it back if it wanders. Can you soften your shoulders? Can you smooth out your forehead? Can you continue to sit up nice and tall? Watch this next breath in and out as consistently as you can. And we'll let our eyes open. We'll take our arms by our side. As you breathe in, we reach our arms up. Keep the hips pressing down. As you exhale, palms turn towards the floor and the fingertips come down. And we'll do a few of these. This is linking movement and breath, which is the essence of vinyasa. As you exhale, the hands come down. And we'll do a couple more. So even though we're engaging in the arm muscles, we have a feeling of kind of flow as well. So there's effort and ease. Another inhale. This time we'll twist to the right. That's your exhale. We use these yoga poses as a tool to release tension, contraction, right? So we can connect. Continue to focus on your breath even as we start to move now, right? Everything we do is secondary to the breath. As you're ready to inhale, rise up. And as you're ready to exhale, left side twisting, we're rotating around ourselves. So really focusing on long, steady breath is going to maximize the benefits we receive from our practice. Emotional benefits, physical benefits. Shoulders draw down. Even though we're twisting and it's a little bit harder to breathe, right? We still let our belly expand here. And we still, contract, draw in as we exhale. We'll take our breath in now to rise. And we'll float the arms down. And now we'll come off our block. We'll move it to the side. If you do have two blocks, you can have one on each side of your mat. Just leaving mine there in case it's easier to see anything. Fingers are spread wide. Your middle fingers are parallel to these long edges of your mat. Knees are under your hips. We'll take a few cat-cows. Our belly feels like it lightly draws in. And then a breath in to draw the chest through the upper arms. Your sitting bones tilt up. Your shoulders slide down. As you breathe out, you round. Flatten the shoelace side of your foot into the floor. Press and round your back. Drop your head. Inhaling to come into cow. It's a back bend. It's a stretch for your front. And exhale. This is cat. That's a stretch for your back. A few more. Next time you exhale, let's bring our hips all the way back. And we find a child's pose. We'll leave our arms forward. So child's pose, our seat comes to our heels. We might actually walk our hands a little forward here. Forehead's on the ground or let the head hang. Anytime in any yoga class you feel like you need a break, just make your way here for as long as you need. So we'll take our first down dog. Your hands already walked forward. They might drag in just a bit. Make sure the fingers are still spread wide. And we start to lift our hips up and back with a big bend in our knees for our first down dog. We want to even out the effort. So push into the hands so your hips might rise with that. Roll your biceps up to the ceiling if you can find that action. And then with the knees bent, sink the heels towards the floor. So you transfer some effort to the legs. We have a few breaths here in down dog. You can be pedaling your feet. You can hold your pose still. If your neck feels tight, maybe a little slight, shake the head. Notice what you're doing as you're doing it. Keep breathing. And let's check the spacing of our down dog. So we'll do that by coming forward to a plank. So once you come forward to a plank, you want to find your shoulders over your wrist creases and the heels press back and your legs are straight. Now if you had to lengthen out a little bit, like wiggle your feet back or your hands a little forward, as we now come to down dog, bend the knees to get there. This is the spacing that it's nice to keep your down dog at. If it feels too challenging today, it's okay to shorten it up. But let's try it again. So as we breathe in, plank, right? We have our nice heels back, legs straight, wrist creases are under shoulders, and then one more time for this downward facing dog. So these two poses kind of fit, right, spacing wise. So we'll take the right leg in the air, and we'll bend the right knee and open the hip. And try to keep the right shoulder down. And we're just opening up here. And since we're taking our practice a little more basic today, we'll then take this right leg and place it down instead of stepping it forward. We'll place our knees on the ground, both at the same time, and now take the right foot and step it towards the right thumb. Your knee is over your ankle. The back toes curl in, we reach back through the heel. And let's find our first high lunge. So we'll build it slowly, hand on each one on the thigh, and when you're ready to come up, reach the arms, they're in line with your ears. If your shoulders feel tight, totally fine to cactus or goalpost your arms here, or even keep your hands on your hips, right? If you can, arms are straight up, palms turning towards each other. Pressing through your back heel, and let's just experience our breath in this high lunge pose. Our hips are facing forward. We're breathing in. We're slowly breathing out. Keeping our face soft, our gaze is also steady. As we exhale, let's find a warrior two. So we spin the back foot down. We line the front heel up with the back arch. Our arms are parallel to the ground. And we're looking over our front middle finger. We try our best to feel both feet pressing in. Usually the back one's not quite as grounded as it could be. So you can feel that in your own pose. And just remembering the breath is the most important thing. It's going to maximize the benefits of what we're doing. So focus on that as we hold this warrior two just a bit longer. And we'll turn the front palm up. Let's straighten the front leg as we bring the right arm back. This is called reverse triangle. Reach, reach, reach. Draw the upper arm in. As you breathe out, let's bring the hands down. We'll return to low lunge. The hands now frame this front foot. Wiggle the right foot just a tiny bit to the right. You might grab your block, placing the left hand on it, and the right arm lifts up, and this is a twist. So you could keep this back knee lifted, which I'm suggesting, but it's totally fine if you want to place the knee on the floor instead. So we're looking towards the top hand. We're noticing what it feels like to breathe here, and be in this twist. And as you exhale, bring the top arm down, block moves to the side, and let's bring this right leg back. So we're on the hands and knees. Come to down dog, hands walk a little further forward again, keep the fingers spread wide and feel the down dog. So we just did a couple of poses, right? 3 on one side. Notice if you can, feel a difference in your body from the few things we've done together. So yoga's about connecting, noticing. Here we go with the left leg up in the air. So we're taking a 3-legged down dog. We press through the hands to lengthen. We might twist the hips to the left. We're sinking the right heel without forcing the leg straight. And then we meet back in downward dog with the left foot to the floor. And then we place the knees down. So you do that as slowly as you can. And now we set up left foot to the left thumb. We can use our hands for that if we need. We set up a low lunge, pressing strong through the back heel, and we build to high lunge, coming up with the hands on the thigh, and then our own version of the arms up. So either straight, or maybe that cactus, or hands on the hips. We're feeling our back heel pressing back. We're noticing what it feels like to be here. Begin to make our way to find our warrior two. So we spin the back foot down, our arms are parallel to the floor. Our feet, look at them. If they're not lining up, line them up. Front heel intersects with the back arch. And then once we're set, we look over this front middle finger. Our shoulders are over our hips, right? We can even look down, make sure it looks like that to us, and then go back to looking over your middle finger. And then we experience our breath here. Times, right, depending on what pose we're in, this would be one you could do it for. You could take your hands back to your rib cage and just feel your body expand. That's on your in-breath, right? And notice the difference as you fully exhale. So we'll take the front palm, turn it up as we straighten the left leg. This is our reverse triangle. Reach back for it. And we'll take a low lunge so we can exhale our way down. We feel our back heel lift. Hands are framing our front foot. Now if we're using our block, it's under the right hand, and we lift the left up to twist to the left. Our option to place the knee down behind us, right? We might work there if we choose. Keep looking up towards your arm. Take a few breaths. As you breathe out, this top hand comes down. Block goes back to the side, and we step up. So let's step the right foot to the top. Make 2 fists with your hands, right? Have the inner sides together, and then slide them between your feet. That is the spacing we want right now in our forward fold that we're about to take. And this is a good spacing for down dog feet as well. Hands to the shins. Let's lengthen out and hold. This is called prepare. We feel a little broad, shoulder to shoulder, a little back bend feeling. And then we bend our knees and fold and let our belly rest on our thighs. Our arms are right now hanging. We can leave them hanging, or we can ragdoll, bending elbows, and slide the opposite thumb in that elbow crease. Feel your sitting bones reach up. Feel your breath in and out. Slowly breathing here. One more breath here. Let the hands drop. We'll round our way up. Continue to press your feet in. You might feel a little more supported by walking your hands up your thighs. It's okay if you're letting your arms hang. You're still pressing through your feet. Once you are upright, let's bring the big toes together, the heels a little apart, and our hands, let's bring them to prayer. And just notice what we feel like so far here on our mat. Continuing to breathe. And as you're ready, let's take an inhale. Let's circle our arms up as we root our feet down. Our hands might touch like they did when we were seated earlier. And as you breathe out, fold into legs. So bending the knees assures that we bend from the hip creases, which is our goal. Inhale to prepare. And let's step the right leg back. That is low lunge. And we took high lunge. We're going to inhale to high lunge. So come all the way up on the breath in. Let's find a warrior two. Spin the back foot down. We're looking over our middle finger. Coming back to that reverse triangle. Turn the front palm up as you straighten the leg. And this time we'll add triangle pose. So coming up, the front hip, you want to deepen the crease so it goes closer to the back of your space. You'll get stuck. We all do at some point. And then take that hand on the shin and look up towards your top arm. If you glance down at your bottom leg, your torso is over the leg. Sometimes we kind of pike and have our chest forward, which I'm showing now, and the hips behind. Try instead to have the torso over the leg. Block could be used here under your bottom arm, might be on a high height would help. We'll hold our triangle just a bit longer. As you're ready to breathe in, we are coming up. Take your block with you if you have one. Turn your toes to the side, the front ones. Turn your right toes to the back. So let's find triangle on this side. So if you're using the block, you can right away place it inside your front foot. Arms parallel to the floor, hips go back. And then tip down with the bottom arm, looking up towards the top. This is our triangle pose, other side. Experience your breath here. Feel your feet strong. As you breathe in, reverse triangle. So feel the feet press down, reaching now the right arm back. And now we'll start to find warrior two. So facing the back of your space, your arms are parallel to the floor. You bend into that right knee, and we look over that front middle finger. And from there, start to find, let's bring the hands to the hips, returning to the back for high lunge. So it's maybe a tricky transition. You'll see what it feels like. Your right toes are straight forward. You have the back heel lifted. Your arms are up if you can. You're breathing. And as you breathe out, let's bring our hands down. So we'll start to transition to the front of the mat. Let's turn our toes back to the side. But we'll take a fan pose in between. So we'll come up now. Once you kind of turn to the side of your mat, come up by pressing through your feet. As you look down at them, we're headed to fan. The outer feet look parallel to you. It'll look like your toes are slightly turned in. Have your belly in. Let's bring our hands to our hips. The block might be nearby. You might end up using that. Bend your knees a little bit. And when you do, fold, right? Start to fold towards the ground. So you release the hands to the floor with your knees bent. Again, you might use a block, right? 3 heights. Bring it on a high height. You can grab your second if you have that. Perhaps your hands are on the floor now. We're folding. So you're letting your back go. Similar stretch to the forward bend we did at the top, but the legs are in a V, so it's going to feel a little different. You're feeling your sitting bones try to reach up to the ceiling. Your feet root into the floor. And you might, let the head shake a little. The spacing of your feet doesn't feel right for any reason, you can change it. If your head's on the ground or you're feeling too wide and need to contain, right, you can shorten or widen the space. As you breathe in, start to find that prepare feeling that we did at the top. And now, we'll take the block with us. We're turning ourselves to the front and we're stepping forward. So back foot to the top. You're folded at the top of the mat. On your in-breath, let's come up, circling around. And as you exhale, the hands come down. Let's take a balancing pose. So I'll face the camera, so hopefully it's a little easier to see. We'll take a tree pose. So we're going to try to balance on one foot. If you would do better with a wall next to you, you can move yourself, next to a wall. We'll transfer the weight into our body, into that left leg, and we'll start to let the right one lift. So 3 different options here. The leg comes up. We're pressing the base foot in. We'll bring the leg to the side, the knee to the side. The most straightforward version is putting part of the foot, the ball of the foot on the ground, and the rest of the foot, the heel, on the ankle. And this can be a nice balance if you're newer to balancing or just are not feeling steady today. If you can, you might move on to placing the foot on the inner shin, and that's a feeling of rooting together. Perhaps you use your hand and place the foot on the thigh. Do not place that foot on the knee, because we really want to feel the power of the leg and the foot pressing in, and we don't want to be pressing into the inner knee strongly. So we'll leave our hands at prayer today. Your gaze is looking down and ahead of you on the floor. You're pressing into your base foot. And when you're ready to release, which we'll do right about now, we'll bring the knee forward and we'll place the foot down. And we'll notice anything that came up and we'll try to give it a little movement. And from there, we shift the weight to the opposite foot. That's into the right now. And you'll know what you're working on, right? Knee to the side and then foot above or below your knee or part on the floor. And this is our tree, other side. So you could always have, the wall near you and you're lightly holding the wall or even heavily holding the wall. Over time, right, we work on peeling away. To release from this, we'll place the knee forward, bring it down. And as you breathe in now, we'll inhale, lift arms up. And as you exhale, you're folding into the legs, dropping the head. And we'll come to sit. So in your own way, coming to sit, we'll come into a cobbler's pose. We'll bring the bottoms of our feet together. The heels can be a little further apart from your groin area or bring it in if your hips feel okay with that. If your knees are super high, give yourself room and have the feet further away from you. So we sit up tall, we feel the middle of our sitting bones on the floor. And if we're feeling a lot of stretch, we don't do anything else, but we breathe. We're not so sure, we might fold a little forward, looking for, fairly intense sensation that does not hurt. We go slowly enough to keep ourselves connected to what we're doing, using our breath to help. We'll hold a little bit longer, so over time, maybe there's a little more folding you can find, and maybe there's not. Just stay connected. Using breath. When you're ready to inhale, we start to come up. And we'll scoop our legs in, and we will come to lie down on our back. So in your own way, come down. Pause. If you have a block with you, take it now, place it between your thighs, squeezing it in. This is coming into, we'll take a bridge together. So the feet are that inner hip distance, like we did those 2 fists. It's harder to set that up or feel that here. But if you have the block, you're naturally going to be in a good version of that. You also want to feel like if you lean to the side, your fingertips can just touch your heels. That's the spacing that you want around from your hips to your feet. The arms are by your side, you're squeezing your block if you have it, and as you breathe in, you lift up, and this is a bridge, it's a back bend. If you have a little more space, you grab the hands under, interlacing fingers, and tuck your shoulders under, and that's your bridge. Whatever version, the details, right? Don't worry about it now, just focus on breathing. And if you don't have a block, just pretend you have one, right? Feel your inner thighs a little activated. The feeling of pressing feet in, lifting arches. Noticing breathing. Let's stay one more breath in. And when you're ready, we separate the hands, we lower down, we move any props we might have to the side, and we'll hug our knees into our chest. And we'll place the feet down, scoot our hips a little to the right, drop the knees to the left. This is a twist. And you can look away from where your knees are. Let your legs be heavy. Right, if they're not together, the thighs, and it feels a little awkward, you can take a block or a pillow or anything and place it between your legs or underneath your legs, right, if they're hanging. We'll start to find the other side in the twist. Letting the opposite shoulder relax, propping the legs if needed. And we come back to center and we lengthen out our legs. This is our corpse pose. We'll spend just a couple minutes or so here. Legs out, palms up, close eyes. Let your breath go here. Let your body go here. Let any thinking or thoughts go here. Start to deepen your breath. Wiggling fingers and toes. And come back slowly. Hugging our knees to our chest from there. Roll to the right side. Just let the weight of your body be off of your spine for a moment. And then come back to where we started in a comfortable cross-legged seat. This time the hands come to prayer. We lift our heart as we bow our head. And we just have this last closing moment where we can notice how our practice has affected us, just in a curious way. We might notice something physically that feels different, emotionally. We might feel something mentally different, like clearer and more focused. Finally, we might feel a little more thankful or grateful or appreciative of anything, right, or everything. We end by saying Om Shanti, that means peace, namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me.